Hello and welcome back to Everything Tumbler Tutorials. My name is Rebecca Esca and today I'm super excited to show you a very non-traditional Christmas tumbler, because who says that you can't use these vinyls to make a Christmas tumbler, and I'm going to show you how we're going to do that today. But the first things first is I'm going to use a piece of all four of these beautiful designs that I get from AB Designs. Everything will be listed and linked for you down in the description below. The first thing we want to do is remove all of those little white trims off of each vinyl. Once all of those are removed, we're now going to go ahead and measure out our tumbler, which I've already figured. I'm going to do half this tumbler, which is about 5 inches in width. I think I was also going down about 6 inches down the tumbler as well, because everything below that green tape is actually going to be an ombre glitter. So what I needed to do was measure out the size that each one of these vinyl sheets needed to be. So I'm going to cut 1.5 inches off of each sheet. So once you have all of your pieces cut, we're going to go ahead and remove some of the backing, and I'm going to overlap the vinyl over both sides of the tape. That way when I have all of my vinyl placed, I can then use my X-Acto knife to trim off the sides. You'll also notice that I'm just staying off the rim a little bit in order for me to sand that down later, so that I make sure that I have good application with my epoxy. So how I determined placement for each one of these vinyl strips was based on the background of the vinyl color, if that makes sense. So my cheetah print is on a beautiful deep colored green, and the palm leaves are on a goldish background. Each one of these are going to alternate right up to that tape line. You'll also notice when I'm placing each vinyl strip that I am deliberately staying as close to, without overlapping, the previous vinyl. Once I have this final strip in place, I'm then going to remove that bottom piece of tape, and then I'm going to go ahead and make sure that my lines are crisp down the side, and I'm going to use my X-Acto knife to trim up the vinyl. This way, when I get ready to move my tape, the vinyl pieces are going to come with it. Once we have that tape removed, we're going to go ahead and re-tape going over the vinyl that's now there, if that makes sense. This way we can do the exact same process, but this time I'm actually going to opposite the vinyl from the other side. I am also going to skip a space in order for me to ombre glitter in that third section. Now you'll notice when I get ready to cut this down that that line was wonky, and I did have to adjust it off camera. Once I sliced everything down, I adjusted that third vinyl strip so that everything matched up perfectly. Now once again, just like the other side, we're going to go ahead and do the exact same thing and trim off this excess vinyl. In this clip, you'll notice that I did adjust that vinyl strip and made everything nice and straight. Now we need to tape this tumbler off completely so we can get ready to spray paint. Now that we are taped off, we are now ready to go in with a satin white. I do not recommend using flat if you're going to do this step, simply because it dries super fast. If you are uncomfortable with the glitter wet spray paint method, I highly recommend going in with epoxy and or Mod Podge to glitter in these sections. So as I start to glitter the tumbler, it's going to appear that everything is going south and fast. But not to worry, this is exactly why I love working with spray paint, because I have far more time to make corrections as I move forward. My glitter is flowing out super crazy fast. Right now, I just decide that it's time to go ahead and get an eyeball as to where my glitters are going to meet on this tumbler. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to glitter the tumbler. Once I get the blue added, I'm then going to take this outside and clear seal it with Rust-Oleum. I'm going to come right back in and glitter pretty much exactly the way that you see before you. This is a really good example as to why you'd want to use spray paint or coordinating paints, if you will, in order to glitter. Because these colors were so dark, I did need to go and focus in more or less on having good coverage before worrying about my ombre at this point. Once I was satisfied with the glitter coverage, I then was able to focus on the ombre. So as we progress in this upcoming clip, you'll notice that I'm getting a little bit closer, yet I still was not satisfied with the ombre. So because I was working in smaller sections than usual, I decided that I was going to go ahead and mix the two glitters together, seal this one more time, and focus in on that ombre. And remember, it's not how it starts, it's how it finishes. And I was very satisfied. By the time this glittering was done, I loved the ombre. I hope you do too. Let me know what you think down in the comments. So here's what we're working with. I absolutely love the ombre. Mixing it in a spare container with those two colors did the trick. I was very, very happy with the outcome. I am so sorry you didn't get to see it. I thought I was recording this part, and this is the most important part. I promise you guys, I will eventually get to show you guys exactly how I am doing this using spray paint step by step in an upcoming video. So be sure to tune in for that. Once we have achieved our ombre effect, it's now time to go ahead and immediately remove the tape. Once I have removed all of the tape from this tumbler, I do seal this one final time and allow this to completely dry for nearly an hour before I move on to epoxy. I really hope you're enjoying this video so far, and if so, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel for more tutorials coming soon. And don't forget to click the bell to get notifications. Now that our tumbler is sealed and dry, it's now time to go in for epoxy. For this first coat of epoxy, I am going to be using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. Once our tumbler is cured, it's now for the fun part. I am using a beautiful Hello Winter, very simple though, decal from AB Designs. It actually shows up perfectly right onto this tumbler. You'll notice that I'm also starting to use contact paper to transfer these decals just so that I prevent getting my fingerprints onto the back. When placing any clear cast decals, you really want to make sure that you are placing this on an epoxied, non-sanded surface. Once you have it placed where you want it, we're going to work from the center out, preventing air pockets and wrinkles. This cheetah print design that I'm actually going to use to accent the rest of the tumbler around the bottom of my decal and around the other side came off of a 12 by 12 clear cast decal sheet from AB Designs. I just cut out as many as I thought that I would want or need to go ahead and finish designing this cup. So once you have designed and accented your tumbler with your cheetah print the way that you want it, it's now time to go in with the nail tape or vinyl strips, if you will. This is a black nail tape from AB Designs. Each of their nail tape collections come with 3, a 1, 2, and a 3 millimeter. I am using a 3 millimeter black down the sides. Then I'm going to accent with a 1 millimeter gold going right over top of the black, right in the center. I decided to take this tumbler one extra step further to really dress it up. So as you'll notice, I'm just following the lines that I had already created for myself using the vinyl. I used the gold 2 millimeter for the step. Once you have completed the decorating process of your tumbler, you can go straight into epoxy like I did. Or if you feel far more comfortable, you can use Quick Coat Urethane Sealer from Counterculture DIY first. For this second coat of epoxy, I am using Fast Set from Counterculture DIY. This tumbler only took one more final coat of epoxy and it was completed. I want to thank you so much for watching, and be sure to find me on TikTok under Rebecca Escott and Facebook at Everything Tumbler Tutorials for continued learning. Remember, all the links will be in the description for you guys below. And just as a reminder, make sure you use your heat torch to pop any bubbles that you may or may not be able to see.